So we're here to give our day 2 wrap up. It is just, it's going on 11. It's not 11 o'clock yet.
Somewhere around there.
It's like quarter to till 11 or something like that. But we went on our first day at the park. It's our second day of vacation, but our first day at the park, we went to Hollywood Studios.
Mm-hmm.
And
got there at 8.
We got there, yes, 8 o'clock. We knew that there was, it was going to storm. Like, there was no doubt it was going to storm. But
pretty much 100% chance.
Yeah. But we started out the day wearing just our jeans, but wearing just regular t-shirts. And
this t-shirt.
Yes. And I
used to have your t-shirt.
Yeah, my sweatshirt and my t-shirt. But then it did end up raining, and so we came back to the room halfway through the day, and we got our sweatshirts on.
But we looked all over. We were just going to buy one.
Mm-hmm.
They're very sparse on sweatshirts. They really are.
At least at Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know about like Epcot. I think Epcot is going to have a lot.
Yeah.
Because Epcot usually in the World Showcase, usually they have some in England, they have some in China, they have, I mean, you could go around and get one from a different country and they're going to have their own stuff.
Yeah, they were very sparse at Hollywood.
Yes, especially for men.
Yeah.
So they had a lot of sweatshirts for women, but they just did not have a lot for men.
They had a black one that was pullover. But my problem,
it was a Spirit jersey is what it was, but I saw men wearing the Spirit jersey because
a Spirit jersey.
A Spirit jersey is the one with the writing across the back.
Oh yeah,
and
they have Walt Disney World in back from arm to arm.
Yes.
It's not something I'd ever wear.
Right. So Kevin doesn't want to wear anything, doesn't want to buy anything at the park that he won't use at home. That's why you don't see us buying Mickey ears and stuff like that. Right. Because why would we buy them? And some people just buy them so that next time they come on vacation, they can wear them
or
here.
Or just as a souvenir. We've just never done that.
Well, I've just never done that. If I can't use it or if I don't really want it for something when I get back home, then I won't buy it at all. It's just like people ask me, I had a lot of people asking me, well, why, when you went to Hawaii, why didn't Kevin wear a special shirt for the luau? Or why didn't you wear a Hawaiian dress for the luau? Because it's not something we would wear once we got home. Yeah. So why would we spend money to buy something that we're not going to actually wear at home? So we're just practical about some things. But anyway.
But not on others.
Not on others. Absolutely not on others. So it did end up pouring. And
we hid under a bridge in Star Wars.
Literally,
Galaxy.
we hid under a bridge. Yeah, in Galaxy's Edge.
Half an hour at least.
Yeah.
But everybody else was too.
Yeah.
So, but it was pouring.
We met this family from Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio, and they were really nice.
What made the rain worse though, we could walk around in the rain, and we've done it before, just be drenched. But it was this breeze blowing through, and it was cold.
So cold.
I mean, like cold.
Very, very cold.
So if it had just been rain, we probably would have just like went on, and if we got if it started coming down really hard, we would ducked in someplace for a little while and left. But the wind was so cold for a while.
It was bitter. It really was bitter. Like you had to turn your back against it, and we were just shivering.
Yeah, it was blocking the wind from her.
But this was our first day at the park, and this was our first day without having the Genie Plus. And so your question is probably, did you get to ride what you wanted to ride? How full was the park? Was it busy? It was pretty busy.
It was pretty busy. The first one, we got there the half hour early that you get from a resort, and we went straight back, beelined it to Star Wars.
To Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah, and we got pretty much right on.
Yeah.
I mean, we waited probably 15, 20 minutes.
We didn't have to wait that long at all. That line, it was a long line, but it moved quick.
Yeah, and so by the time we got over there, we went and rode the other one. The Smuggler's Run or something like that. We did that one. And that one, by the time we got up there, the park everybody was there.
Yes.
And then it started raining, so we got stuck for a while.
Yes.
And then we went to Toy Story.
Toy Story.
And we rode everything there.
Yeah.
All 3 rides. We did have to wait a long time for the Mania, the Carnival Mania, Toy Story Mania, whatever it's called.
Oh, the Toy Story Mania.
Where you shoot the 3D things.
And it's not a new ride. It's the one that's always been there.
Yeah.
They just changed the entrance from where it was to yeah, so I mean, but it's always really busy.
Yeah. And so we waited there for probably that was the longest wait, probably an hour and a half.
But I didn't mind.
No,
I'm not complaining about it because I didn't mind. There's so much cool theming. Disney does such a wonderful job, and out of it's just a matter of opinion, but out of Galaxy's Edge, which is Star Wars, and Toy Story, I like the Toy Story myself. I think the Star Wars is cool as it can be. But I personally connect more with the Toy Story because, especially like on that specific ride, there's on the whole Toy Story land, you see the Green Army Men, you see different games, Operation and Candyland.
They've made it where you're a toy.
Yeah.
They even say when you go into the section, oh, it looks like we've got some new toys.
Yeah.
And then we were getting off that ride, and she goes, "Thank you for riding with us toys," or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And so you're toys. You're supposed to be toys.
Right.
I like Toy Story 2 as far as the music was upbeat and
it's happy.
happy.
It's happy.
My only complaint is there's not a lot to do over there.
Right.
They've got the 3 rides, and they've got that little lunchbox area where you can get snacky type food stuff. But that's it, really. They didn't have anything. And the shops, they didn't have any like shops you go in, like gift shops.
It was all like on carts.
Yeah. Whereas Star Wars has actual stores you walk in. Now they're small, but they actually did have stores you could walk in.
The thing about Star Wars, though, you said about things to do. There's only 2 rides in Galaxy's Edge.
That's true.
And the stores, I told Kevin, I said, because I didn't know if he had noticed, but you would go in a store and there would be this same 5 or 6 items in this, taking up
repeated
a whole store,
over and over.
And it's just repeated. So the same stuffed animals you saw here are the same stuffed animals you're going to see when you cross the room. They've just spread them out. Yeah. It's the same stuff.
But they had one store that was like, it was like for cosplay. Like if you wanted to actually be the characters, they had robes, and you saw them if you watched the video. But they had the robes, they had the masks, they had the belts, they had all that, and they were good quality. I mean, high quality,
very, very
thick,
good quality,
heavy duty fabric. It wasn't the cheap stuff you get at Halloween. It was good quality.
Right.
Then we went around and rode.
Tell people between Rise of the Resistance and Smuggler's Run. Is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called. Anyway,
I'd rather do the Resistance one.
Me too. We both preferred Rise of the Resistance, and it's because I hope we're calling it right now. Smuggler's Run.
It's Smuggler's Run.
You have a job to do. It's not just a motion theater ride where you can just sit back and watch the screen and enjoy the ride. I would prefer that. Instead, you have a job to do when you get on that. You have 2 pilots. It's supposed to be like 6 people. 2 pilots, 2 gunners, and in the back like 2 engineers. And so what happens is basically, unless you're a pilot, the 4 people in the back, anytime you see a green light blink, you hit it. That's your only job is to push that button. It takes my attention though from what's in front of me and seeing this whole atmosphere. And I mean, you're in space and you're fighting and you're ducking and diving and you're going way up and coming down, and it just takes my attention away from it, having to worry about, okay, every time this lights up, I'm supposed to be hitting it.
Because you're shooting stuff.
And it's a fun ride. I'm not saying don't ride it. But if you only get a chance to ride one, do Rise of the Resistance. Yeah. Because it was just amazing.
Yeah, it was fun. But we rode we went to Muppet Theater, of course, which that's whatever.
You get to sit down for a few minutes.
We did Star Tours twice.
Yes, we did.
There was another ride over there we did. Your Muppets. No, because we went down. We were going to ride the Rise of the Resistance. They were closed for the day. They closed it down. By the way, if you'd done the Genie and you'd booked something after it broke down, what do? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
Do
what
you cancel
you do.
that one and move it to something
Because,
else? Because
yeah, we were going to ride Rise of the Resistance
but it was
again.
down for a third of the day.
Yeah, it was down, and I don't know how, because if you're only at that park for one day,
Yeah, you didn't get it on early.
Yeah, you're out of luck.
luck.
Yeah, can you imagine if they had told you, oh, you're going to get to ride this at 8 o'clock tonight, and then it's down?
Yeah, it was
I
down
can't
to
even
that close.
imagine.
So, anyway, ultimately, we rode everything we wanted to.
We did.
We rode the Mickey Mini ride. Now, that was a long ride, too.
That was a very, that was,
Probably the second longest one.
I still think that Toy Story was longer.
Yeah, and we were there for an hour and a half.
Yeah, Toy Story Midway Mania was a long wait. Oh, and they took out the Mr. Potato Man. They used to have this great big Mr. Potato Head.
They would talk to you.
And he would talk to you. And they took
Tell
that
jokes.
out.
He told jokes and
Yeah,
stuff.
they took that out. There was something else that you noticed that they took out, and I didn't remember it until after you said it. Something else that had been there that they removed. I don't remember what it was. I'm sure when we're watching the video back when we get home. But
I know in the Mickey Mini ride they took the theater thing out, but they've redone that
yeah,
whole
this
thing.
was something in that Midway Mania.
Oh,
Yeah, and I don't remember what it would have been.
I don't know.
But we rode the Mickey and Minnie. For us, I don't know that I would wait a long time for it. It's not, I mean, it's cute, but it's not worth waiting as long as we did.
No, I mean the theming and it's cool looking. You can tell they spent a lot of time on it.
Yeah.
But as far as a rider goes, you're moving in a free moving car, and it's like you're moving around and and things are like Mickey Mouse getting shot across the room and stuff like that. And you're like.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It was a very quick ride, too. I mean,
It was very fast. I bet you we weren't on there. I bet you we weren't in there a minute.
probably. It seemed,
Maybe 2 minutes.
It seemed very,
Yeah.
very short.
It was 2 minutes at the most.
Yeah.
Because it was very short.
Yeah.
And you're standing there for that long for that. I don't know. You didn't get as much bang for your buck.
Right.
The Muppet thing, probably wouldn't do that again either.
Probably wouldn't do Muppet.
Because they haven't changed it at all.
They used to have a Muppet store. That's not there anymore. And see, when we visited years ago, they had that, what do you call it? The cars.
Oh, the stunt.
The stunt cars.
show.
Well, they took that out a long time ago.
Yeah, that must have when Star Wars went in, they must have got rid of that.
But there was a lot of things they don't have anymore. But ultimately, we had a really good time. We
didn't
really
ride,
did enjoy
We didn't
it.
care about riding the Aerosmith ride.
No.
We didn't want to ride the Tower of Terror.
Tower of Terror. We've done
It's
it.
okay.
We've done it. We did go in their gift shops though. We went in the Tower of Terror gift shop. We went in Aerosmith gift shop. But we didn't ride either one. And
So if you were wanting to one of those those big rides, as well as other stuff, you may have.
you still could have done it.
You probably could have done it, but you may have had to have given up something else.
I don't think
Like
so.
the Star Tour ride. You might not have gotten to do that.
I don't-
Plus, we came back to the room for an hour.
I don't think so.
We walked around for an hour looking for sweatshirts.
I
So
firmly believe if we had wanted to ride Tower of Terror
We
and
could have.
Aerosmith, I think we could have ridden those as well.
Probably.
You just have to know that you're going to stand in line for an hour and a half apiece.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just,
And you only get to probably ride them one time.
yeah, I think we would have, because we rode that other one twice.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have done Muppets.
No, we wouldn't have done Muppets. If Rise of the Resistance had been open, we wouldn't have done Muppets. We would have stood in line for that.
Yeah, so I mean, I definitely think.
I don't think you had to spend the money.
I don't think you need to spend the money. As far as this park, now we may change our minds with the next parks coming up.
For Magic Kingdom.
But for Hollywood, I think you're fine to not get that Genie Plus.
Yeah, there's just not a whole lot of rides there.
And I wanted to tell you, yesterday we got over 19,000 steps. Today,
That was the airport day, too.
yes, today we got over 27,000 steps. 27,000. That's, Kevin said that's a lot of steps for somebody who doesn't walk.
Yeah, Tammy's used to getting 20,000 steps a day.
But not even 27. That's a lot for me.
I walk about 500.
Kevin don't walk very
I
much.
don't
Kevin's
walk
on the
much.
computer all day.
Yeah.
But then We tried the Ronto wraps, and they were phenomenal.
I loved them.
They were so good. Like, I've never had anything in Hollywood that I was really crazy about eating. That is something I would eat over and over again, was that Ronto wrap. It was delicious.
Then we ate the carrot cake.
The carrot cake from basically a Starbucks.
That's basically what it was.
Yeah.
I wonder why they don't sell that other Starbucks. Just because they wouldn't sell that big thing.
I think
Starbucks.
I think it's a Disney thing.
And then we made a mistake.
We made a mistake. Yeah.
For dinner.
A big mistake. I thought because we were going to be heading down to Disney Springs so late that most people would have already eaten dinner. And I thought we wouldn't have any problem at all just whisking our way into a restaurant and getting a table.
About 10 o'clock.
It was going on 9:30. It was going on 9:30. So we tried to go to the Edison first, and they said, we're fully booked for the night.
Mm-hmm. But you could go stand in the bar. They had 3 bars, and you could just stand there and wait for tables to open up.
But she said it was a very busy time of night.
And Tammy said, how busy is it? She goes, it's pretty busy. So in other words, lots of people are standing there.
So there's lots of people standing there drinking, and here we're talking about trying to eat something with all these people just drinking. No, I did not want to eat with all that. Mm-hmm. So then we tried to go to Planet Hollywood. And Planet Hollywood, you would think
Planet Hollywood was flat out, said no.
No, they said we are completely sold.
No open bar, no
nothing.
No.
And you would think seeing this big globe outside, you would think this is a huge restaurant. They're going to have plenty of space. No, they said no. And then we tried to go in a pizza place, and there was just...
It was walk up. Like
it was counter service.
Yeah, it was counter service, so they don't serve you.
But there was no place to sit.
Yeah.
No place to sit and
it's
eat.
Cold. You're talking about 50 degrees out there.
50 degrees, yes. It is it's bitter cold when the wind's blowing, and there's no sun. It's dark, and so we ended up going to Wetzel's Pretzels, which is great. It's like eating at Auntie Anne's in the mall.
It was pretzel. Very good.
It was good, but you're not supposed to eat or drink on the Disney buses. Right. So we would have liked to have gotten them and got back on the bus.
And eaten them on the way here.
You couldn't do that. So we had to sit on a bench in the 51-degree weather. It was the quickest I've ever eaten a pretzel in my life.
Or anything.
Yeah.
I don't think Tammy's ever eaten any food that quick.
No, I scarfed it down. And then we went back to where you catch the bus, and we stood there for...
It seemed a really long time. I think it was probably more like 10 or 15 minutes.
I was thinking 20. I was going to guess 20. But it was
in the cold, though.
Very, very bitter cold. And there was these people in front of us, and... She was wearing like a sundress.
Yeah, with sleeveless. It was no...
With like flip-flops. And I'm thinking, my gosh,
and
I don't even
know.
No
sleeves. Literally, the sleeves were at her shoulder.
Yeah.
And the little boy in front was going,
He was miserable. I felt I felt bad for the mom, but I felt even worse for the kid, because the kids don't know any better.
Yeah, kids normally, stuff like that doesn't bother them. When a kid's saying they're cold,
then you know it's bad, and he was miserable. Yeah. But Kevin and I, and let me tell you something else I think it's real silly. I was going to say, we stood there, we put our hoods up.
And our masks on.
But we also put our masks on.
So we had our eyes.
Yeah, so to keep warm. But that's what I was going to talk to you all about real quick, is the mask. It's really silly, in our opinion.
Of course, it'll change next week, probably.
Yeah, it'll be different if you come, but we're just putting our opinion out there. It's really, really silly, because we have taken the boat back and forth to Hollywood. Mm-hmm. You don't have to wear a mask on the boat.
But it's enclosed.
It's enclosed. It's an enclosed boat. They had the doors closed. You don't have to wear any mask at all. We're standing right up on people in a ride, in lines, in this Rise of the Resistance and the other. You're right up on people in front of you. You're right in their faces. You're talking to people and stuff like that. No mask. But yet on the bus, they insist you wear a mask.
Mm-hmm. Now, any ground transportation.
I don't know how that makes any sense whatsoever, because I'm further away from the people on the bus than I am on the rides. It's like, why do we have to? It just seems silly to have to wear a mask on the bus.
Well, the the people are right there in front of you.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. There's just no excuse for it.
Yeah.
I just don't know why.
Just one of those rules.
It's just one of those opinions and one of those rules that they have.
So
but
we just put our mask in our pocket and just go on.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I'll wear it. I have no issue.
It's just silly.
I have no issue with following the rules at all. If they wanted us to wear a mask on every single thing, then I would do it. But I just think it's silly to make us do it on the bus when they don't make you do it on anything else.
Well, tomorrow's going to be interesting because, first of all, time changes tonight. That's not that big a deal.
The
but
time
it
does change. I forgot about that. We spring forward.
It's going to get down to 30-some degrees tonight. 30, 37, 38 degrees is a low. By the time the park's open, we're going to Animal Kingdom tomorrow. By the time the park's open at 8, it's still only supposed to be 40, what was that say, 40,
It's
45?
it was like
that.
low 40s, yeah.
That's when they open. It may have been closer to 40.
I think, it was low 40s, yeah.
So we were going to wait a little while to get there, but even at 9 or 10 o'clock, it was still only supposed to be like 50. So we may wait even a little later.
Yeah, so
if we have to wait on any park, though, honestly, my personal opinion is if I had to go in later, Animal Kingdom would be the one I'd go later to.
A lot of people, Animal Kingdom is their favorite. It's our least favorite.
Yeah. Now, we've never been to the Pandora area.
No, Pandora is completely new. I'm sure that by waiting to go later in the day, I'm sure we'll have to wait for hours in line. It's okay. We're willing to do that. We don't mind doing that because we'd rather not be miserable.
Yeah, because we've seen what the cold is, and it's cold.
It's very cold, and all we have is our hoodies. I mean, it's not like you can wear a winter coat. If I was at home and it was this cold, I'd be wearing a winter coat.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's how cold it is.
If it had been this cold at home, you would have had a scarf on.
Yeah. It's
with
that
the wind. Yeah.
So we do plan on, and we would have never done that before. We would have been there at when it opens.
Yeah.
But since it's going to be so very, very cold, we're just going to sleep in and maybe walk around the resort on the inside and see what it's like, see what they have.
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoyed our day 2 wrap up, and if you have any thoughts or anything, you can put them in the comments below, and thanks for watching.